What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, back again with another video. This one's a little bit more personal, not really talking about Facebook ads or e-commerce a lot, but more talking about money and how money changes you and how money helps you develop as a person, or not even as a person, but as an entrepreneur, because, having 10 grand as an employee is different than having 10 grand as an entrepreneur, because especially it depends on where you come from. And I'll tell you a little bit about where I come from as well. So both my parents, middle class, was raised in the middle class, and it wasn't that we were poor, right? Like, I always had a roof over my head, always had food on the table, decently good food, and always had medical. There wasn't much of a struggle on my end. In some ways, I was a little bit spoiled, but money wasn't something that was able to be spent a lot. Um, a lot of the money that we had growing up actually went into traveling, because we had family in Europe. So I've been to Europe a few times, but that's where most of the money went, and obviously to food and housing and stuff. But it's kind of why I wanted to become an entrepreneur when I was around like 13 or 14. I started realizing that there's more to life than just living paycheck to paycheck, and I didn't want to be in the middle class. I didn't want to have a limit on money. I liked freedom. I've always been a money guy. I've always saved my money and bought myself something really nice, because I understood the value of it. And money can't bring you happiness, but in a way it kind of does. Like, it's part of what creates freedom, and freedom to me is happiness. So I've always wanted to start making money, and I've started a lot of businesses on my journey, like affiliate marketing, blogging, Shopify stores, way back in the day, before I knew what I was doing. But a lot of different things that I did was just failing, and it took me about a year of straight learning and not taking any action, and then another year of taking action, until I even made my first dollar. Now, there's a few different marks to making money as an entrepreneur, especially as a young entrepreneur, where I didn't, when I first started making money, I didn't have any bills. I didn't really need to pay any taxes because I was still a dependent. It was like 10% or a tiny bit. So basically, all the money that I was making, I could do whatever I want with it. I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have to, have a car payment. I didn't need to feed myself. I always had food on the table, like I said. So, but that changed as I started making more money, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But basically, I have a few different points in my life where I started making money, and different stupid things that I did, and things that I noticed started changing. So if you've seen my story video, I definitely recommend that you watch that if you want to learn a little bit about how I went from being basically a nobody to generating millions of dollars online through Shopify and Facebook ads. I have a bunch of videos talking about what I did to exactly get to where I am. But today we're just going to be talking about how the money has changed me, because it hasn't really changed me per se, but it's definitely shaped me into who I am today. It's had a big part in that, and it's also amplified a lot of the things that, a lot of good traits about me that, I just wasn't able to have a lot of control over when I didn't have a lot of money. The first $1,000 that I made, now this was about a year and a half ago, and I was selling courses as an affiliate, so I was making about $150 per course that I sold, and it wasn't my course; it was somebody else's course. Obviously, I had no stance to make a course at the time, so I decided to just sell somebody else's, and I think I sold maybe 8 or 9 courses in a month. And I was doing door-to-door for a while, so that really got me good at sales, and I was able to implement that with courses, and I made my first $1,000. It was like the greatest feeling in the world. I was finally able to wake up in the morning and know that something's happening. It wasn't just like me working all day to not make any money. I was actually getting a little bit of cash flow, and that got me like super excited. And being used to having $100 in my bank account, making $1,000 in a month was a lot of money to me at the time. I remember how excited I was and how free I felt. I actually went into a grocery store the second that I had, a couple $100 check come in, and I just blew it all because I wanted to know what it felt like to walk into a store and be able to buy whatever you want. And that was probably the most money that I ever spent in a grocery store, and I'll probably never do that again. But it was just stupid shit like that, like the little things that I've always wanted to do. But I blew about $350 at the grocery store. I was walking down the aisle. I was like, I want that. I was never able to do that before, so I just wanted to know what it was like. It was always like, what's on sale, what's on that, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna grab whatever the fuck I want. I don't care. $10 bottle of water, fuck it, let's do it. Basically, and then the rest of the money, I took my girlfriend, and I think it was like our year anniversary at the time or something. But I went and I bought her like a $500 pair of shoes from a designer store, which was stupid. But basically, what that all taught me was $1,000 is not a lot of money, and I didn't know that until I spent it. That I know that they say that like you don't realize how little, like let's just put a number on it, like let's just say 10 grand. You don't realize how little 10 grand is until you have 10 grand, and then you don't understand how little 10 grand is until you spend 10 grand. And that's kind of what happened with the $1,000 because I thought it was a lot of money. I was like, I can blow 500 of it. I still have 250 left. That's plenty of money. I was wrong. The $1,000 ain't shit, but whatever. I learned. I was coming. You gotta remember where I'm coming from. Like I had $6 in my bank account when I first started, and I just kind of grew that just by mowing lawns and selling those courses, and I blew it all in a weekend. So, which was stupid, but I learned my lesson. Let's talk about my first 5K month. So this was about 2 months after I made my first 1K month that I was just telling you about. So I learned my lesson about blowing money. I didn't spend as much money on designer. I think that shit's stupid anyways. I think it's a waste of money and time. I hate shopping in general. But basically, all of that money, I started going out to dinner almost every night. 5K to me was like, $30 here, $30 there. It ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but, all of it added up, and I just didn't care. And this went on for a few months. It wasn't just that 1 month. Where I would just go out to eat like every night, like I was, balling out, eating all my money pretty much, and I got a little bit fatter, I'm not gonna lie. So starting to make money and starting to make a little bit of money, it aided in me gaining a little bit of weight. But again, I'm not blaming it on that. The real reason why I gained a little bit of weight is because I didn't give a shit about my health, and I still kind of don't. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, when I was broke, I was skinny, but I couldn't afford food, So once I was able to afford food, just blew up. Gained like 20 pounds in a month. It was funny, but yeah, I mean, the first 5K month was a really good feeling for me. It was kind of like a normal income, like $1,000 a month it's not enough. Like, obviously at my age it was good, I guess, but it's definitely not enough to live off of. But when I made 5K in a month, it was enough to live off of, which got me really excited because I knew that I could do it. Like, this was like the real sign that this is real. I can make a full-time income on my own. It's not just like the lucky people. Like, I'm actually grinding my way to the top, which was really cool to see. And I was finally able to wake up in the morning without worrying too much about money. And that was like a really good turning point for me. A big thing that it did was make me hungry for more. Like, it made me want to make 10K a month or 20K in a month, and it showed me that it was possible to go from $6 in your bank account to making 5K in a month. And it just like showed me that if that's possible, like what else is possible? Maybe I could be a millionaire in a few years. So I was just kind of putting things together. In the beginning of 2018, I started making about $10,000 a month, which this was the ultimate goal for me. Like, when, all those years that I was learning and all those years that I was growing businesses, this was the epiphany of my goal, was to make 10K in a month. And that was my goal. Like, I didn't have anything after that. It was just, I want to make 10K a month, and there was no bigger goal than that. And that was a big problem that I had, was there was no step 2. And my step 2 now is real estate. I want to get into real estate, and that's why I'm kind of saving my money. And I stopped spending my money on stupid shit like this because that money is better used in real estate, where it would actually make me more money. But basically, when I started making 10K a month, I started traveling and doing whatever I wanted. If it would be 2 a.m. and I'd be like, let's go to a restaurant, and I would drop like $100, or let's go. I started going to better restaurants. That's another thing. And I would still have money left over. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I started traveling. Like, I went to Minnesota to meet with a client. I went to Los Angeles, and again, like, I've been there. Going to LA, renting out the mansions and the nice cars, and we got mansions and penthouses, and spending thousands on Ubers in a month, and it was crazy. But and I don't regret any of that stuff, but I just learned my lesson, and it just kind of shows just kind of shows you how money can change you and kind of amplify what you do. When I was making nothing, obviously I was just sitting at home trying to make more, or trying to make money, period. But once I started making money, I was actually out there and I was able to spend it and stuff. And obviously it's pretty obvious that you'd be able to, but it's really the mindset of like, once you hit a certain level, you already kind of know that you can hit the next level. You already know that you can hit the next level, so you just keep on working towards that next level. But I'll never forget when I worked in the beginning when I had no money. That's the hardest that I've ever worked in my life. I was telling my friend the other day, the first $10 that I made, it took me about three hours to make, and which sounds ridiculous, but that's how hungry I was. That's how much I wanted it, and I was mowing a lawn. And if you scroll down on my YouTube channel, I actually made a video while I was mowing this lawn called Create Cash from Nothing. I really just wanted to document it because it's exactly what I did. Like I said, I had like $7 to my name, and I just went door to door, found a lawn to mow, and I closed a deal, and I made like my first 10-20 bucks, and that's what started it all for me. But yeah, it just kind of shows you, like, when you start making money, you just want more. Like, at the end of the day, my hunger now is the same that it was when I was just starting out. And I'm not just saying that because making 10K a month or making 1,000 in a month feels the same as making 10,000 in a month. It's just bigger numbers. You still want more. You'll never be satisfied with how much money you make. But yeah, this was my second biggest mistake. Was the first month where I made 15 grand, and in a 30-day window. It was like February of 2018, or maybe it was March or something. But I bought a car, of course. I bought myself a little BMW. I still have it, and I put like half of it down because obviously, like I said, I don't come from a lot of money. I couldn't really get any co-signer for the car, so I had to put half down so I can finance the rest of it. And I only financed like 10 grand. It wasn't that big of a deal, and I've never ever had issues making the payment. It's like $200 a month. That's what I did. I dropped like 9 grand to get this car, and I don't regret it. I like the car. I'm a car guy. I didn't just do it for the flex. I genuinely like cars, and I genuinely like the car that I bought. So, and I still do. But that was one of the biggest mistakes. That was one of the biggest mistakes that I said I think I could have made. But again, I don't really regret it because obviously I like cars, and the car that I was driving before that was a complete beater, and I hated every second that I was driving in it. But yeah, basically what I want to say is money has never changed me. It's actually amplified me and kind of made me a better person. I definitely feel like I have more freedom now. Like I can get up tomorrow and go to, Europe. I can get up and go to Los Angeles. I can go to Miami and get like a nice penthouse. It doesn't mean that you can do those things because like I said, like I'm saving up for real estate. I want to, I have calls, like I'm a busy guy, I can't just drop everything because then my income will go away. I'm still hungry. I'm still hustling. I'm not wasting money. I know a lot of last year I wasted a lot of money, and I do kind of regret that, but I don't at the same time because it was kind of like scratching the itch. And that's like the biggest point out of this video is once you start making money, you get to start scratching those itch. You get to drive the nice car, stay at the nice Airbnb, stay, travel where you want, meet all kinds of cool people, and scratching those itches is definitely, I definitely recommend it because it's fun. It allows you to get out of that, the groggy state where you're an entrepreneur but you're not making any money yet. And once you start making money, you just want to go out there and blow it all. But at the end of the day, I've learned that it's more important to think as an investor and not like only as somebody who just wants to ball out and spend a lot of money and pretend that they're a rapper and stuff like that. Mainly because I want the money that I make now to produce money for the rest of my life, which is what real estate is going to allow me to do. So now I'm just kind of chilling. Like I'm getting an apartment next week, so I'm going to have my own space, and I've been talking a little bit about this, so I'm going to have like a little recording studio with a better microphone and a better camera. And I think investing in my own space is also going to be really beneficial because if you don't know, I've been living with my parents this whole time, which isn't a problem because like I said, I'm just trying to save money. That's the main deal. Like I'm trying to make money, stack it, like just as Grant Cardone says, like first you make money, then you stack the money, and then you invest the money and multiply the money. And most people, they don't get to the multiplying part because they want to go out and spend all their money and get like bougie cribs and nice whips and all that stuff. But that's not really the type of person that I am. Like, it doesn't align with my long-term goals. So I've just been kind of laying low, you know, like I might make good money, but you're not really going to see me traveling all that much. You know, I travel here and there. I might ride nice cars. Like, I'm still a car guy, you know, like it just amplifies that. But really, that's all my life is now, is just like stacking money so that I can go on the offense, just like Gary Vee says. And I think that's the best way to do it. You know, make your money, save your money, do what you can to stack as much as possible. Because I'm young, you know, if I can become like if Grant Cardone can start at 32 and build almost $1 billion real estate portfolio by the time he's 50, then I'm pretty sure that if I start at 18, I can build $1 billion portfolio by the time I'm 50. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going for the billies. Basically, that was it for this video. I just wanted to talk about how, you know, what I did with my money as I started getting it. You know, how I thought of it as an entrepreneur, how it made me feel, and maybe, you know, how it changed me a little bit. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you want to learn more from me about Facebook ads and e-commerce, make sure to subscribe. Leave a like and comment if you do. I really appreciate all of you guys who do, by the way. It means a lot. As you know, I'm trying to grow on here on YouTube, trying to help more people out. So it really helps. But as for this video, that's it. This is Noah Brewer, and I'm out. Peace.